Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the first AACE International Section Leadership Virtual Meeting. We've had these section leadership exchange meetings in conjunction with our annual conference, but not everyone gets to attend the annual conference, unfortunately. We'd like everyone to attend the annual conference, but sometimes that can't happen, so welcome. I'm Charity Quick. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of AACE. And this is AACE's management team here, so I'm going to introduce all of them before we get into our agenda today. I would ask you if you have any questions while we're going through this. This is very casual and informal. Please stop us and ask us a question. We're also recording this so that we have it available for other section leaders to see for those who weren't able to join us right now. And of course, at the end, we will leave time to talk about any other topics that you'd like to talk about, or any other questions that perhaps didn't come up during the presentation. So let me start with my right here. We have Christian Heller. He is our Director of Technical Guidance. So anything associated with the TCM framework, recommended practices, all of our technical guidance, Christian is our person in charge here in the office. To his right is Jenny Amos, and Jenny is in charge of, she's our Director of Governance, Marketing, and Meetings, so you know what all of that means. Anything related to section governance, anything related to marketing, and of course our annual conference. To her right, Ryan Schwartz, and Ryan is our IT Director. Ryan is in charge of all of our IT infrastructure related to our membership database. Our membership database, anything related to our communities platform, etc. Is something go to your speaker?
No, it's on. It's on here.
It's someone.
See if we can mute
It's
him.
someone on this system.
Can you mute people?
I think you can. That's the app.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll look on here.
Ryan's right is Janice Johnson. She's hiding in the corner. Janice is our administration and accounting manager. And Janice is responsible.
Over 10 participants in the meeting. This meeting is being recorded.
I don't think I can. Are you muted?
Yeah, I'm not.
Can you get that? You got that? I ask folks on the phone to please mute if you, at this time if you're not talking, because we're getting some feedback from someone. Across from Janice is Marvin, and Marvin is in charge of our publications, the Cost Engineering Journal and Source. So if you have section news to send in to AACE, the person you'd be sending it to is Marvin. To Marvin's right is Terry Jefferson. That's Terry. Terry is the manager of education. He's in charge of all of the educational materials, including skills and knowledge, is in the box, anything related to certification study guides, any of those, Terry is in charge of. And then to Terry's right is the famous Penny Woolery. Penny is in charge of certification and membership, and undoubtedly you have come upon Penny either at the annual conference at the working, or you have spoken to her or emailed her in relation to lots of questions regarding your section reporting. So that's our leadership team. If you want to email any of them directly, you can get all their information off of our website. So without further ado, let's move forward. And why don't you? Oh, there it is. Okay. Quickly, this is the agenda that we're going to go through today. We introduce you to the staff. Penny's going to go into our section reporting. Ryan is going to talk about the communities, how to use them, how to navigate. And Jenny is going to go into some section-specific information that's available in the communities and resources. Christian and Terry are going to talk about various resources that are available to you as a section, particularly as it relates to training. Marvin's going to talk about the section news. I'm going to talk a little bit about AACE's new mission and vision that the board approved last fall, and the strategic initiatives, and also some very important constitution and bylaws changes that were just approved with this last election cycle. And then we'll go into open topics and Q&A. So I hope that works for everybody. Anybody have any questions at this point before we move forward? Again, if you don't see anything on this list, if you want to wait till the end and bring it up, that's great. Hopefully we can help you with it. And if you have any questions during the presentation, please ask. If not, you can hold those questions till the end. All right, Hank.
Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about our section membership reporting that is available to all vice presidents of regions, regional directors, and section officers. There's a few things that you need to know in order to make the module work properly for you. Number one, you must be identified in the system as a VP, RD, or section officer. And I would like to stop for just one moment and explain that. If you're a VP and RD, that's pretty much taken care of because those were elected positions. And so we already have those in there. But section officers, we have to rely on the individual members to provide a list to us annually. That list, we know that some people operate according to their bylaws, their actual section bylaws. Some people operate on a June through May schedule, and some are operating on a January through December schedule. The most important point in that is that we have to have that information to update your profiles so that you will have access to the section membership reporting. Otherwise, whatever I'm about to show you here today won't work because you won't be listed as an active officer in your section. So please make sure that you get your list to us timely so that you are not losing out on getting access to your membership roster so that you can stay in touch with your members. Another thing, you must be a member of AACE to hold any of these positions. I will give you an example in a little bit when I give you a demo of the section module to show that even if you are listed as an active officer in the system, if you let your membership terminate, you still won't have access to the data. So it's important to make sure that you stay on top of your membership and don't let it lapse. Another point to remember is for section officers, your section affiliation must match the section that you're serving. I'm going to show you that in a minute so that you can make sure that is working properly. If you are listed as an at-large member, but you're the section president for Pittsburgh, you won't get any results from the module because those two don't match. And that only applies to the section officers. For vice presidents and RDs, the configuration in the system overrides that. So this is strictly for section officers. So then we're going to talk about downloading the list. It's only going to contain active members applicable to your role. And that's going to make a lot more sense when I actually show you to demo for you what that looks like. Keep in mind, the list will not render at-large members, and the list will not render certification information for certified members. We'll talk a little bit about how you can get access to that data. And always contact us if you have any questions. So I kind of want to, let me share my screen. Okay. I'm going to share my screen here real quick and show you what all of this is looking like. Okay. So let's go back to being identified in the system as a VP, an RD, or a section officer. So let me move this down. So let's go to, I'm going to show you in my profile. This is, you won't see this, this is from the back end, but this is what you'll see when you log in. So if you are an active membership, of course, it's going to show you here that you're active in case you're wondering what your status is. But if you look at all of the menu options on this report, you'll see that you do have a section report option where I'm actually highlighting. If you do not see this and you know that you are a member and that you are your section president, treasurer, secretary, whatever your position is, you need to contact us because there's a problem. More than likely, it's because we don't have you updated in the system. Before you call us, you can actually check that out by clicking on My Committees or Join Committees. And on the right-hand side where it says My Committees, if you don't see a section, committee, and a position, or you don't see something that if you're a VP or an RD, or it would currently say Board of Directors and then give the position, that's more than likely why you're not getting the option for section reporting. So the 2 points that I had made earlier, you have to be a member and you also have to be in the system to have that role to get access to it. To show you what it would look like if you were a member, and I'm switching into a different role because I have 2 different roles. You can see that in this particular profile, I am terminated. My membership is not active. So therefore, I do not have a section reporting module there. So that could also be another reason. You either are not an active member or you are not in the system designated in that particular role. So we need to get, I can't reiterate enough that make sure that you have your updated list to us at headquarters so that you can avoid these types of problems. So basically what you're going to do when it's time for you to run your report, remember it's built on your role. Are you an RD? Are you a VP? Or are you a section officer? So that when you click section reports, and let's see if it's going to cooperate with us here. I hope I have internet access. It's working. There you go. This is where it's going to take you. And based on your role, you're going to be able to see all of the data that you need, and it's only going to give you. So if you were an RD, you actually would get every person from every section that's in your area of responsibility. However, if you are a section officer, you're only going to get data related to that section. So the system is configured to only give you the data that you should be responsible for, and that helps us to keep other data safe from not sharing it with people that shouldn't have the information. So if you are confused about what you're getting and what it's rendering, please know that it's based on your role within the system. When you're ready to, if you don't want to do any type of filtering where you just want to, I just want a first name, last name, and email, simply click the action button and download the data. And you then can put it straight into an Excel file, which of course will download, it'll start to open it up for you. However, if you do want to, as you can see, it's going to show me that it's opening the results, and I'm going to cancel that. If you want to filter on something, there are a lot of options here that you can use. I don't want to get into the weeds too much. There actually is a tutorial that you can view, which is by clicking right here. So you've got your everything that we talked about pretty much is here to remind you, but you can click right here for an actual tutorial video to show you how you can do specific things as far as filtering and only rendering certain information. Most of this information is very useful for you, not only by giving the names and how to contact them with email, what their phone numbers are, who they work for is important, but keep in mind, not everybody, it's not a required field, so not everybody will fill that out. So you might see some blanks, as you can see for the preferred address 2 and 3. Join date is important because then you can be able to know who's been with us a long time and who are some of your new members. And that's basically all it is about section reporting. It's there, a tool for you to stay in contact with your people and to actually contact people that are new. We will be starting to send. We actually started in, what month are we in? April. We started in April providing the list to all of the RDs, VPs, and section officers for new membership, people that are new, and we also started listing them on our website as well. So if you have any problems or any questions, please reach out to me or someone on my team, and we'll be happy to help you. And that's it.
Can you stop sharing screen?
I can.
Okay, thank you. Ryan?
All right. Let me bring up the share here. Okay, so I'm going to go over briefly how to log into the communities. how to complete your profile and also participate, meaning join a specific community and access that community to post. So to start, you'll click on the Communities tab from our website. You can see that once you're in there, you're not actually signed in yet, so you will need to sign in. And from here, if you have your AACE credentials, you can use those obviously here. If you know your username and forgot your password, just click there, put your email address in, the one we have on file, and you'll be emailed that information. If you're a new member, just click on new user and fill all the details out, and you'll be provided with your credentials there. So I'm just going to use a demo account that I created for this. So once you log in, it will bring you back to the communities page. And from here, well, one thing I should say, if you're new to the communities, you'll actually be given the community rules and etiquette, as well as the privacy guidelines that you will need to accept, read and accept before you can continue. Once you hit accept there, you'll be taken to this screen. And the first thing you really want to do is update your profile. So if you go up here to the top right, you'll see the drop down arrow. And if you click profile, there's a lot of details you can put in here. You can use the add buttons and type. Yeah, I made that up. Thanks, Jenny. Sesame Street. So, you can obviously put the contact details in. You can also pull in some social links over here. But I would encourage you to use, if you do have LinkedIn, I would use this import your info from LinkedIn. It's pretty simple. If you click that, you'll just have to log in and link that account with the higher logic piece, and you'll be able to pull that data in. So once you have your profile set up, you're then going to want to add communities to participate in. So to do that, you'll just go to the Communities tab and click Join a Community, and you'll be taken to this page where you can click My Committees, Join Committees. And what we've done is created a community for each SIG or subcommittee that is on this page. So if I would join the IT SIG, I would just click the plus arrow, and you can see that it adds it here, aerospace, and you can add multiple SIGs here or subcommittees. Once you do that, ensure that you save. Be sure you hit save. And then from there, you can either click here or you can just go back to the window that's already open.
You should also note that there are committees, associate boards and boards that you can't join. As much as you might like to join the board of directors, right. I don't really know why you would, but just kidding. But you can't join that. So the options that are going to be displayed for you are groups and committees that you can join. The ones that close that are elected positions or positions that are appointed by the are not committees or communities that you can join. So just a note there.
Okay, thanks, Charity.
Mm-hmm.
So once you, let's see, let's make sure we're muted. 1 second, I'm going to mute a few folks. It's just the telephone though.
It's 1386, is it? Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's a telephone. So if you can mute yourself. Try to mute all, there we go.
Should be able to move all.
It is.
Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay.
And then we're still good here. Okay. All right. So once you saw that I added those 3 committees or communities, you'll come back to the communities page and go to My Communities from the Communities tab. Now, you can see that those are not refreshed currently. Basically, it takes 1 hour for it to auto refresh, or you can manually refresh by clicking on the Refresh My Communities button there. And then once you click that manually, you will see the communities show. Once you have the communities, you can click on the community directly, and then you can post a discussion. You can create library entries to share with that community, and you can also see others from that community. And you'll see in the bottom right here, I've been getting some emails, because when you join a community, you will get an email auto-generated to you as well. Let's see, anything else? So it's pretty straightforward. As Charity mentioned, some communities you can join and some you can't by the rights that are given within the system. So I did create a page, and if you need to go back to our webpage, you can always click up here on the top right. It just says aacei.org. And I did create a page with some text details as well as a short tutorial under AACE Communities tutorial for you to reference as well. So we'll leave that up for a while. All right, I think that's it for me. Let's see.
Okay, if you can, I go up next. So if you could log into the communities as yourself or
Oh, as like an admin?
as, yeah.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't have to be an admin, just someone that would have section
Oh, okay.
rights.
All right. I have to.
And then I'm going to steal Ryan's mouse. So
Okay.
Sweet. Okay, this part's pretty quick, but there are we have some resources available to the sections here within the communities. And these are available to anyone within your section, not just the section officers. And if it wasn't already stated, once you join a section, you would automatically be added to the section's community here within the communities.
It was still under my dummy account. I apologize.
That's okay.
So let me log out and
Okay.
go back in. Because I didn't see my lovely photo, so I knew it wasn't me. Now it should be me. There we go.
Beautiful. Okay. So within the communities page, I wasn't on your mouse. If you just go into the search, there are two quick areas to go into, but you can type in the region that you're in. So I'm going to pretend that, that I'm in region 1. And then you can you'll find all of the choices that might be in region 1, which include the sections that apply to region 1. But anyway, click into the region 1, and then you would automatically be taken into the library, and you can see we have a variety of templates and other resources that we will be continuing to add to this list. But within here we have a set of sample meeting minutes. This is a customizable section brochure. Some parts of the brochure are customizable to you. Some parts are not, because it would be standard AACE language. But certainly there are areas that you can do that. There are a couple of infographics. One of them is the path to AACE certified. The other one is why join AACE. We do have a section certificate template, a meeting attendance template, and a section PowerPoint template. And you can just go into the regular properties and replace that with your section logo. But just so you know, as you're working your way through the communities, like if you're going to click on the meeting minutes template, you can't double click on it and have it open. You have to select what you want to open, and then you'll click view. And then from there, you can either, you can click it here, or you can just download it. Or in the case of the, it's the brochure, because it's a couple of, in order to set it up so that you all could work in it, it's in Word. But it's a two-page separate Word document because there's a watermark on it. You'll see it when you get in there. But anyway, you can download all as opposed to clicking on each individual one if that's the way that you would like to go. So then I'm going to back out completely so I can get back to that page where I had all of the Region 1 options. Potentially. I think I have to get one more. No, I'll just type Region 1 again. Because if you haven't already downloaded your section logo, you would find, you could either do it via Region 1 or you could type in Montreal, but I'm going to pretend like I'm in the Montreal section. And here is where you can grab your section logo. The file itself is really sizable. It's much larger than it is here. 24 inches in width by however deep it needs to be to accommodate however many lines your section name would take. And it is only available in the communities via a JPEG, but for whatever reason, if you would need the vector image, all I ask, and it's listed on every page, is that you shoot me an email, jamos@aacei.org. So if you could just shoot me an email and I have your vector image, and it would just be a matter of a few moments for me to answer that email and get you the vector image that you would need. And then this is not in the communities, but it's one additional resource as you are promoting the conference and expo. If you would go into conference and expo, and then 2018 AACE International Conference and Expo, come on. And then you can see the conference and expo promotion kit. Theoretically. Oh, you're a clicker. But from this page, there are all sorts of, you can grab text, you can grab the promotional video that we have, the brochure, the flyer, but it's straight text if you're needing to include that in your section newsletters or any type of other promotional activities that you do within the sections. We would appreciate it if you also include announcements about the conference and expo. And that's all I have.
Great, thanks, Jenny. Stop sharing. Next,
Okay.
Christian is going to talk a little bit about some of the resources available, particularly in the training area, and Terry's going to follow up with him. One of the things I want to mention quickly, in case you haven't noticed, hopefully you have by now, the name of our annual meeting has been changed to the annual conference to better express that it's not just a meeting, but that it is a conference. Took a lot of years to change that, 60 odd years, but we feel it's more descriptive of what it is. So you'll see a lot of that branding change to the annual conference, and you'll see that in a variety of places. So we'll continue to refer to that annual conference. If one of us says annual meeting, we kind of
I know I will.
flick them, because it's been there. We've been called it that for a really long time, but go ahead, Christian.
All right, so I've been approached a lot of times by people saying that they're looking for speakers to get to their section meetings, and it's to see if people, if I had any suggestions about who might be able to come and give a talk and so forth. More than often, it's a little harder to do that than to use another resource that we have. We have been recording at our annual conference and expo since 2012. We've been recording all of the technical sessions there. So we have this huge library of all these great presentations, some better than others, roughly about 600 or so, that a lot of times at a local section event, they would use one of those pre-recorded presentations and show it at the section meeting. You can even have, you can pause the meeting or the presentation anytime you want to. You can have a discussion around the subject with the people that are in attendance of the meeting, or you can even have the author maybe call in for a Q&A session at the end of it. So I'll show you where the easiest place to go and find all of these things are. I would go to the website first. I use my personal preference is to use the virtual library to find the presentations that we have in there. And so from there, from the website, we would log in first. Then you go to publications, virtual library. Go here to access it. And I'm just going to type in actually, I'll just do this. This from 2016. Come on, internet. It says my internet connection is unstable.
Well, it
Ryan?
just matches the person running. it.
Oh, thank you so much. Can we edit this part out?
No.
Well, other than the people who are watching it live.
So,
Edit that out,
Criticize them
please.
afterwards.
Right. All right, let's try another. It's this one.
it's his.
It's you. Is it mine?
It's you. Typical.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I just typed in something here that I found one search result or two search results for. Anyway, here's one thing. So you can use the virtual library to look for various topics. You can search by author. You can search by location where it was presented. You can search by keywords and so forth. These listings here will then give you a few different things here. You'll have first of all, you have an abstract of the presentation that was given. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit on this.
Yeah, maybe.
Thanks.
It's minuscule, it's
Right.
micro text.
There we go. There.
Screen's not moving.
No. It's only,
No, it disconnected.
You stopped your share, I guess. You can restart.
Oh, yay.
That's better.
There we go.
Can you tell I used to be in IT? So anyway, so this is what you see. There's a typical search result. The first link here will give you the full paper that was presented at the conference. So if you wanted your, whoever is organizing the meeting to read through the paper first to see if the topic is applicable, this will be one place to do it. Or you can ask your participants to maybe go ahead and read the paper ahead of time, so you can have a more productive discussion afterwards if you wanted to. Also, there are links to where this particular topic belongs to in the TCM framework. So you can click on any one of these sections. In this case, it's either estimating and budgeting or risk management. And you can click on one of those and it'll open up the online version of the TCM framework so you can read a little bit more about where that topic fits in within the framework. Well, pretty process map here. And finally, if you wanted to view a presentation of this paper, you would just click over here. Please note that these are not available free of charge to members, but they are priced at a really reasonable rate of $25 for 1 hour presentation. I don't think you can get an hour worth of training for $25 anywhere else, so it's a bargain.
It is. And you earn CEUs.
You earn CEUs. So
Thank you.
this will then take you to the platform that we have, or all these recordings. Okay. I'm going to pause this one, or it is paused already. This will also again show you a little bit about the presentation itself and who the speakers are. You can also get the full technical paper from here as well too if you click on the resources tab. So, and to play the presentation, you can do it, just use the little play button here, and you can maximize the screen. And I don't know if you can actually hear the audio here, if it's going to come through, but anyway, there's definitely audio with it. And this will be showing you the PowerPoint presentations or the screen that the presenters, how it was displayed at the annual conference. exactly, and it will have the audio that went with the presentation, and if they move back and forth in the slide deck, you will see that obviously as well too. So, and at the end of these, you can go, well, you can pause them at any given time if you wanted to. One thing that you cannot do is fast forward it to the very end. We deliberately set up or disable that capability because we don't want people to earn CEUs by simply starting a presentation and skipping to the very end of it. So that's why. I think that's pretty much all I had to say about this.
Q&A from the conference?
Yeah, it does include the Q&A from the conference, everything that was recorded during that particular session. Typically, these presentations are an hour long. In this case, you can see it's 59 minutes and 24 seconds. And like I said, there's probably about, I think, 500 or 600 of these altogether that you can choose from. So go to our website, click on the virtual library, search for stuff. Anything that's recorded, you will see this little video button here, and it will say, click here to view the presentation, and that will take you then to the platform where all of these are stored.
Thanks for
So,
I can stop sharing screen. Carrie, you gonna share yours?
I am going to share my screen, but I do not have a very lengthy presentation. Let's see, here we go. Because what I am going to tell you all about, which I see a lot of you already use, this important resource, but is our Seminar in a Box certification reviews that we have available. They're only for sections, and you must be a section officer to apply for your section to purchase a license to use the Seminar in a Box presentations. They are based on the seminars that are conducted each year at the annual conference and expo, and they are for our professional certifications, the CCP, CEP, EVP, and PSP. And you can purchase these presentations and hold your own workshops in your section education programs. It's a very very popular and very useful resource at an extremely reasonable price. So it's just an added benefit available to sections only. So this webpage, really the way to access it is to just email me at education@aacei.org. You could also search for this page in the search box on our website, but it is actually not, you cannot navigate to it from our website. But if you would type in Seminar in a Box in our search engine, it would come up as a page where you can read the terms and conditions, and at the bottom you can fill out, you can link to complete and submit the application. And then once it's approved by the Ed Board, then I'll send you an invoice and you can pay that and you'll get the materials. So that's really all I have.
Great. Thanks, Terry. Can you stop sharing your screen? Marvin, are you going to share your screen? I don't have a screen to share.
No,
I have old-fashioned paper.
Yes, I'm going to the old-fashioned way.
Even though the magazine is digital, Marvin brought paper with him.
Yes.
Go ahead, Marvin.
I am going to talk about submitting content for publication, and the Cost Engineering Journal, I'll briefly mention, only includes the top scoring technical papers that have been presented at the prior conference and expo. The abstracts are accepted in July and August. We do not publish articles that have not been presented at a conference or expo. There may be a few filler items that can be included in the journal. That could be a regional event or a section announcement, but Almost all of the section items will end up in the source magazine instead of the journal. So talking about submitting text and photos for the source magazine, you can submit your items as part of an email. You can submit it as an attached Word file. The write-up should include who, what, when, where, why, and how, or stated another way. Provide a concise overview of your technical program or your spatial section activity. I'll edit what is submitted, so you need to be concerned more on providing information and not worrying about it being in final print form. Photos is an area that we go back and forth with submissions every once in a while concerning the photos. They need to be submitted in the large original camera size file. We ask that you do not embed those in a Word document. And we ask that you not lower the resolution in submitting them to us. Also would ask that you not crop your photos or not submit them in spatial shapes. We have received a few of those, and generally we have to come back to you and ask for an original photo, because we'll take care of meeting the production requirements from the photos. If you do have a photo that you need someone cropped out of, just include that information with your submission. Avoid taking photos of people standing in front of a projection screen. We get those every once in a while. Many times the submission, there seems to be an interest in showing what's on the screen behind the folks, and that's most likely going to get cropped out in our production phase. So we would advise you not to have people that the image of what's projecting on the screen is actually projecting across their face. Does not print well. A plain wall is generally the best background. This is especially true if you're submitting an individual head and shoulder shot for an article. Would ask you to kind of fill the viewing frame of your camera or cell phone. We're most interested in the persons that are in the photo, and we don't really need a lot of the surrounding background of ceiling and walls, and so up close is the best advice for submitting a photo. Generally, I would say submit 2 or 3 of your best photos, unless it has been a regional event or a particular spatial event. 2 or 3 photos is most likely all that we're going to be able to use, so there's really no need to submit a complete photo album for us. If you're doing a joint event with another association and it's your responsibility to take the photos, then it's also your responsibility to obtain the names, and if it's a section officer for another association, we would like to have all that information. So when you do submit photos, try and submit all the names of who's showing, and kind of left to right, front to back is the best option there. Do need you to submit your photos in a JPEG or TIFF format, and as I said, do not embed them in the Word document. Those are sometimes impossible for us to deal with, and we'll be coming back and asking you to resubmit anyway. You should receive from me within 2 or 3 days of your submission an email confirming that I have received what you emailed me, text and photos. And if you don't receive an email, then you should follow up with either a call or an email asking me to double check and make sure that we actually receive what you submit. In the source magazine, at the end of the section news, we have a basic calendar that will tell you if you're submitting content through about April the 30th, that should publish in the June issue. If it's after that, it'll publish in the August issue. The way you can kind of follow that is whichever the issue month is, anything submitted at that point on will be going into the next issue. Occasionally, for some reason, something may get delayed and miss one issue, but will be picked up in the next. would encourage you to submit within a day or two of your monthly section events. That gives us time to get back to you if there's questions that we have concerning any missing content or missing names, or if there's problems with the photos that as they have been submitted. Encourage your section members to go to the website. Pretty much anything and everything that you or anyone in the section will need will be there. Maybe let your members know that the source magazine, anyone can log in and view that. The journal, they'll have to be members, but the source magazine, if you're trying to get someone to join AACE, they can view the bi-monthly source magazine, and it does include a bonus technical article so that it'll give them an idea of what they would be seeing if they would become a member and then have access to the Cost Engineering Journal. Also at the website will be the online store where they have links that they can purchase digital downloads or a few of our products that we do offer still in print format. And other than that, I would say, if you have any questions on submitting content or photos, just drop me an email at editor@aacei.org, and we'll try and answer those.
Thank you. Okay. All right. Getting close to the end of the formal agenda here. All right. Don't like it. All right. In the fall board meeting that we held in Morgantown, West Virginia, we held a strategic planning session. And during that strategic planning session, the AACE's board of directors adopted a new mission and vision. It's on our website, but it doesn't mean you've necessarily seen it. So this is our new vision and mission. You may not necessarily agree with all the words in it, and that's fine, but it has been approved by the board already. So we're not going to go into a wordsmith activity on it, but this is our vision and mission. So it's important. It does replace the other one that was in place for a number of years, but this happened, like I said, at the fourth quarter of 2017 last year. So we're still making our way, putting it in within all of our replacing anything where it's been mentioned, trying to make sure that everything is accurate. Additionally, I'm sure you knew that at our last annual conference, we updated AACE's logo. Jenny spoke in depth about making sure you get all the branded material, et cetera, get your section logos, et cetera. And that's all been updated with that new logo from last year, which I'm sure you're all very familiar with. But there's been a lot of change at AACE recently, particularly as it relates to governance. Along with the strategic planning session, there was 4 major strategic initiatives that were developed for the time period of 2017 to 2019. And those include a revenue initiative, which is diversification of our revenue streams. If you're not really familiar with AACE's budget, our budget is made up of 3 main revenue streams. Number 1 is membership, number 2 is certification, and number 3 is our annual conference. So we're very dependent on those 3 streams of revenue to fund AACE's activities. What's important about that is if you know what a 3-legged stool is like, if you knock out one of those legs on a stool, you lose the stool. We're not very well diversified in revenue. So one of the things that the board would like for us to do is continue to develop new streams of revenue so that we don't have a 3-legged stool anymore. Branding and messaging is very important. We already talked that we have about having a new logo, and then also we developed messages to go along with that new vision and mission. And these are clear, concise, consistent messages, and we want that to make its way into our branding, make its way into our marketing strategies, and that's all the way from AACHQ all the way down into the regions and the sections. We have a competency initiative, which is to develop a suite of programs that support certification. We want to continue to grow our certification program. Our 8 certifications and in particular, some are doing extremely well. And we want to continue to be able to arm potential candidates with the information they need to become certified. And so that's a major strategic initiative for us. The last one was really about changing our governance structure to be more agile, to be able to respond to things with more agility. And one of those was to convert the regional directors to an associate board model to enhance the continuity, improve flexibility, knowledge transfer, and succession planning. And that did actually happen with the last election, where we had a new amendment to the Constitution and bylaws out there for vote, and that amendment did pass, which I'm going to show you next. So these are important Constitution and bylaws changes. One of the major changes, or probably the most significant change, is that the regional directors will be moving from the board of directors to a new associate board membership. The new membership associate board will be responsible for developing global membership acquisition and retention strategies. And when we say global membership acquisition and retention strategies, we want those regional directors still tied to the region and the sections, because the strategy is going to include not only headquarters global strategies, but all the way down into the sections. So their input from you at the section level is still very important. It also created a new marketing associate board, and this associate board is responsible for again, creating the global marketing strategies or implementing those plans of the membership acquisition and retention strategy. So they should be working very well together. The size of the board of directors has been reduced from 21 members to 12 members. And these changes will become effective at the end of this volunteer year. So when this membership volunteer year concludes at the final meeting at our June annual conference, when our new president, Alexia, comes in, these new changes will be in place. So these are some big changes. Not necessarily everyone is aware of them. The updated Constitution and bylaws will be on the website so that you can take a look at it and understand what they mean. There were substantial changes to that. But again, not everyone votes. We'd like everyone to vote, but not everyone votes. So folks did not necessarily get out there and read the big changes that these Constitution and bylaws enacted. That was a two-third vote. The two-third majority of the membership was in favor of the change, and so the change was made. At this point, let me real quickly, this is your list of the AAC Board of Directors. So you're going to have a president-elect, the president, the past president, certainly retained. You have your vice president of administration and finance. Your vice president regions North America became vice president membership North America. Your vice president regions international became the vice president of membership international. You have a new position, vice president of marketing, and then our other associate boards, including education, technical, and certification, have all been retained. And of course, as the executive director, I'm a non-voting member of the board. So this is your new board of directors. So there's 12 positions now, and your regional directors will continue to be elected. So those are elected positions. They will just serve on the associate membership board instead of being on the board of directors. All right, Ryan, will you do me a favor and unmute everyone?
Kaptan bir fotoğraf gönderin. Ona göre konuşalım. Bye bye.
All right, hold on just a second, folks. We just unmuted you. So for whoever was talking, you can ask any questions that you have. Anyone have any questions? Comments? Topics we haven't covered? No? No
Yeah,
questions?
hi. This is Brennan Cagney from Great Lakes.
Hey, Brennan.
Hello.
Thank you all. Thank you all for this time. Very good to hear from you. It's beneficial for me to hear directly from you guys, just kind of what's going on and where we're headed. So that's beneficial. Thank you.
Good, you're welcome. I hope that, we wanted to do something, again, like I mentioned earlier, we do this, we have kind of a section leader exchange at our annual conference, but we don't get everyone necessarily there. And the format's been a little different. So what we've done is we've had the section leaders submit topics, and the tables rotated. And we may still do something like that. We'd like to hold these quarterly, and we'll have probably a different kind of structure for each meeting. This one was more informational, and what we could do is hear from more section leaders who want to lead a discussion on a number of topics. But in order to get the greatest amount of participation, we're hoping to hold them virtually, so we don't restrict it by location or time. So the other thing that we're going to do is probably change the time a little bit also, so that we have some at different times to be able to let folks in different regions of the world participate. So you may see these scheduled at different times as well. But we were hoping that this first one would be helpful and a little more informational. Sometimes the information that's happening at headquarters and happening at the board of directors doesn't necessarily make it down all the way into the sections. So we want to be able to share information, and we also want you to be able to share with each other on things that are good practices, maybe best practices, etc. So we might change the format. So we're hoping you thought it was helpful. And if you did, it would be great if you could drop us a line and tell us that you thought that this was beneficial to you. We have 23 participants on the line, which is good for the first one. We didn't know necessarily how many that we would get, but for a first one, that's good. And we'll continue to grow. Is there any more comments or questions? Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate that comment.
I guess actually, Charity, I have a question. Based on, I guess when I was entering this meeting, I made a list of some thoughts, concerns, questions for the group. And the one, I guess, they all kind of translate to is just that passage of information from international to the sections. There's a void there, and I'm just wondering and interested in your thoughts on how this new board structure is going to help that. It seems like the RDs kind of are taking a role where it's more marketing and member retainment, I guess, is what I kind of saw there. But could you comment on how they, or will they not have a role in just helping sections collaborate and passing down information about what's going on at the international level? There was just definitely a void there this year for me to provide new information. So.
Sure, and maybe it wasn't clear in the presentation, Brandon. I know we went through it rather quickly. There's two new associate boards, marketing, and there's going to be a group of folks that's going to worry about marketing, and the RDs are moving to the membership associate board, which they are supposed to concentrate specifically on acquisition and retention strategies of the membership, working very closely with the regions and the sections. So that we actually wanted to move them closer to the sections. A lot of discussion and work that's done by the board is done at the higher level. And part of the reason we wanted to make this change was for that agility, to let them be more agile and to let them be closer to the sections, to bring us information on how we can acquire more members, how we can be more responsive internationally in different markets to different groups. And then also, how do we make sure that we retain the members that we have? So it's really been designed to address that specifically, Brandon. It really has. But it's brand new. This just happened. So we're going to be extremely careful about how do we structure the charters of these associate boards? What are their policies and procedures for operations? And to ensure that we don't disconnect them from the sections. That it's very important that they stay very connected and they give that information to us here at headquarters so that we can make sure that what the sections want to do and the ideas that they have are incorporated in those operations plans of the membership associate board. I hope that answers your question.
That helps, yes. So I guess I'm still looking for my RD to help us in the future to be that pathway of information and to help us as sections in a region to collaborate is what I'm hearing.
Yes, right. and they should be doing that. And it's a tough, I think it's actually tough for the RDs because the RDs have a lot of responsibilities. So they've got all of their sections, they've got their region, then they have all of these board responsibilities. So we're really hoping this change frees them up to do what the intent was, which is to really build strong sections, a collaborative working group within their region, and all the things that the section leadership has been looking for. So we're really hoping that this change really does that.
If I could ask one more thing, you comment on it seems like there's a new alignment of the section awards with the actual board year. Seems like the section awards are now a calendar year time frame.
Yes.
And obviously we're all working off that board calendar that includes at the annual meeting. Can you talk a little bit about the change and why that came about?
This is Jenny, but at past regional directors meetings, the concern was that the section award year wasn't coinciding with the section minimum standards year. And they wanted that to link up so that sections would not only take care of the things that they need to do to achieve the minimum standards, but then to also get the recognition. And so the section awards that will be granted this year at the conference and expo will be based on each section's performance in the calendar year 2017. And so everything that you're doing or that you started doing on January 1st through December 31st of 2018 will not only make you a section in good standing, but that would also be the recognition that you would receive in the following year in 2019 at the conference and expo.
Okay, so, but really the section award now actually straddles two boards, correct?
It could. It depends on when your section elections are, but it certainly could straddle two different section boards. And there's no reason that if you wouldn't want to change your election cycle to coincide with the calendar year, the minimum standards year, and the awards year, that you couldn't make accommodations to change your section elections, but that's up to each individual section as to how they want to handle that.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for this explanation, and thank you all for this meeting. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome, Brendan.
Any other questions from anyone?
Hey, this is John Kennedy with the Seattle section. How you doing?
Good, John.
Hi, John.
I've got two questions, I think, and I want to start off by saying that the visuals that you gave ahead of this or on this meeting, that was great. I really appreciate that. I guess question number one, going back to the profiles of each person and then the board members for the individual sections. I can see all the Seattle section members, but I was wondering if there was a way to unlock access to the at-large members that might be in my geographical region, if that was something that'd be possible. Because I know there's folks in Washington that are at large, and I was hoping to send them a note, and I was just wondering if there was a quick list where I could get that out. Sort of going through the membership directory.
Okay, that's a good question. As a section officer, you cannot get access to the at-large data. Think of it this way. When somebody signs up and they select their section, if they select at-large, that is their section. But here's a tip of where you can get that information. Your regional director has that information because the regional director is responsible for everyone within those regions, including at-large members. That is their section, but it's in their region. So if you are looking to put together some type of communication, I would work with your regional director who does have the most current list of all at-large people, and you two can kind of work on either crafting a message or he can provide that information to you. But the system will lock down that data because that section does not belong to you per se. Same as, Seattle is your section, but Southern California is not. So the system literally reads it that way. The configuration for the RDs or the VPs is a little bit more expanded so that it does throw in, for instance, the VPs of North America do not get any data for people that are in the international regions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah, sure.
And secondly, we have tried some virtual meetings earlier on this year. We have a section computer, and the virtual meetings were done off of one of the members' laptops, and we want the virtual meetings to survive that particular individual's membership on the board. And we're looking at some of the options to do virtual meetings, kind of like the one you've got going on right here. And just curious if there is, like I see you're using Zoom right now, is there a chance you guys might have some special pricing that the sections could utilize for some of these virtual meeting software packages?
I don't know, we can check with them and see, we can certainly check. This is actually, the reason you're getting the experience you're getting here is this is an actual Zoom room that's been set up. So there's a speaker and a camera and all kinds of stuff on the hardware side. But in terms of the platform, it's still a good platform. But yeah, I'll have Ryan here follow up with our sales rep and see if there's something that we can do. It's been a really good experience since we've gotten Zoom. I've been pretty happy with it. Not to say that we haven't run into some technical difficulties, but mainly me, the user, and not the system. But it is a good platform. But we can certainly follow up with that. And if that is the case, we'll make sure that all of the sections know that it's available and what the pricing is.
Excellent.
Yep,
Yeah.
we can do that.
Yeah, I'll follow up and I can reach out to you. I mean, there is a basic option that is free. So now there's limited participants and that sort of thing, but it is an option. So I'll follow up with you and we'll go from there with the pricing.
Excellent. Thank you.
Welcome. Do you have any other questions, John?
Not me.
Okay, great. Anyone else have any questions? Comments? Concerns? Bad questions you're afraid to ask? You can chat it to me too if you're really afraid to say it out loud. We're right here. Okay. If not, I want to thank all of you for joining us here today in Morgantown, where you can't see it, but it's snowing. It was 85 degrees here on Saturday, and today it's 30. So probably not a place you want to come and visit. But if you do, you can use our Zoom room. It's a very nice room for virtual meetings. And thank you. We plan to schedule our next meeting sometime in the second quarter. This is the second quarter. It's already April, but we'll still probably have one after the annual conference, particularly to impart information from the annual conference, how the new governance structure is going, et cetera, how you can get involved. So look for that in the later part of the second quarter. I don't know if there's going to be a section leader exchange at the annual conference this year. I'm not sure. I haven't checked with the VP of Membership North America or VP of Membership International to see if that's going to happen. But if not, we will have another one of these. If you want to have particular topics covered, please send me an email, or any of us an email. If you have questions after this, please don't hesitate to contact us. All of our contact information is on our website. So thank you again for coming. We appreciate it, and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye now.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you.